it's WolfFromStormyCastle.com, and I'm here in Egypt. Well, I'm not really in Egypt, I guess you probably can tell that. I'm here on my latest project. It's an Egyptian diorama. I had a lot of fun making this diorama, and this video is a tutorial showing you how to make one too. And you don't have to make one exactly like I do. You don't even have to make an Egyptian one, because this tutorial shows you a lot of the basic techniques. So I'd like to say thanks for watching my video and visiting my channel, and if you're not a subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe. Leave a comment, and if you are a subscriber, thank you very much for that. There's a few things. Let me show you a few things here. I have right here the Great Pyramids. You can see there's 3 of them, kind of neat. And here is the Sphinx right here in front of me. Kind of neat. I also have a tutorial that shows you how to sculpt the Sphinx. A video right here on my channel. And here is a nice little oasis with water effects, some little palm trees, and a little bit of terrain work that I've done. So I will show you how to make this, how I make this diorama. And I wanted to let you know that this diorama ties into a few other projects too. For instance, I have a tutorial on how to make origami pyramids, if you want to do that for your diorama. I have, like I said, the tutorial on how to make the how to sculpt a Sphinx out of clay. And I also have other tutorials on making dioramas, and I have tutorials on how to do the water effects, like in this oasis, And I also have taken a trip. I took an adventure to Egypt. So if you're curious about that, you might want to look through some of my videos for that. That's some various things in Egypt, including a video of the pyramids and the Sphinx and whatnot. So let's get on with the tutorial.
So let me take a little bit a look here at what we need to do when we're making a diorama like this. First off, you get an idea of the size of it you want to make. So I'm going to make it the size of this board here, and you get yourself a board, and then you maybe cut out some various small pieces out of just cardboard or cardstock or even paper to try to get a sense for the layout of the diorama. And you can see I'm starting to arrange this, and I moved it around, arranged it different ways to try to get something that I liked the look of it. And this is what I'm going to go with. And I have the 3 pyramids, and I have a little oasis is going to be here, and I have this little, if you've seen my video about this in Egypt, you know that the Sphinx is actually laid down into the ground a bit in its own little kind of compartment. So that's what I've got here. I made that little compartment for the Sphinx. So that means, so this is what I'm going to go with, and this is how I'm going to build it. This also means that the level of the surface is a little bit higher than the board. So I'll be building this up a little bit, say a couple of inches like that, so I can have this sunken in part. And also I'll have a little bit of sunken in part too for the oasis, for the water. So this will actually be up here, and everything else will be conversely up a little bit. You can cut yourself a whole bunch of strips of cardboard in different sizes, some thick, some thin, and then make the shell of your terrain. Seeing how this part is higher, and then it curves down. And use as much cardboard as you want. You can tape it down, masking tape, duct tape, staples, any way you want to secure it, but secure it down pretty well. And just build it up like that. And then next I'm going to stuff the inside of it, all the upper parts, with newspaper, crumpled up newspaper, to fill it out, give it shape and forms. I could go ahead and put the plaster shell on this, and a little bit of variations in it would be nice. It makes for some interesting terrain. But in the case of an Egyptian diorama, because it's all sand and sand dunes, I want to stabilize this out somewhat and make it smoother. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a layer of thick paper on top of this first. I will attach this, and then I will go ahead and put the plaster shell on it, the hydrocal shell on it. And what that's going to do is going to make it a lot more uniform and a lot more like sand dunes. So I kind of like that. Totally optional. If you were going to do something like this in Egyptian diorama, you still could go forward with this, and you'll see as you put the plaster sheets on it that it will even it out quite a bit. But I want to try to get it as smooth as I possibly can here. So I'm going to give that a try. Okay, now let's create the terrain shell on here. And you have a few different options. You can use plaster Paris or lightweight hydrocal. The lightweight hydrocal is better. It's lighter, it's stronger, and it's made specifically for this kind of a thing. The plaster Paris does work. Just make sure you wear gloves. And you can use either paper towels or strips of newspaper. You know, whichever you can. If you can, use the strips of paper towels. They work better. Will make a better terrain. The thing about something like this is, when you're working on plaster Paris or hydrocal, you don't have a whole lot of time. You're going to see that. So don't try to make yourself up a real big batch. Make yourself up a small batch like this first. And give it a try to see how it works, because this will dry quickly. And in order to do a reasonably large diorama like this one, you have to do it in batches. So I'll have to do 2 or 3 batches. But grab yourself a paper towel. Oh, and make sure you cut your paper towels or your newspapers ahead of time. You don't want to be cutting now while the hydrocal is quickly setting itself. You don't want to waste that time. Soak it in there, wipe off the excess, and apply it right to your shell. Now, an important thing here is you want a nice strong shell. You need to overlap these layers. So, like this. The next layer won't be here. The next layer will be overlapped on that. See, that's important. That interlocking and overlapping will make for a nice strong shell. Okay, so that shell is complete. It's the next day, and that shell is nice and hard. That's great. So now what I do from here is I've made some cardboard pyramids, and I'm going to actually use these in the diorama. Lay them out again, and my various objects. And I will do some cutting now. I'll cut out the hole for the oasis, the hole for the Sphinx, and I also will have to manipulate these because I want to try to get these pyramids to stand up nice and straight. On the rugged terrain, that's going to take a little bit of work. I may have to add a little bit more plaster. Okay, I'm progressing with this diorama here. I've cut out the holes for my Sphinx and my oasis. Now, an interesting thing here is a lot of different ways you can do this. I want to get my pyramids reasonably vertical and like that, but you can see there's some spaces because of the terrain. A lot of different ways you can do that. You can cut out the terrain, you can, add something in there, you can tape it, you can add more cardboard, you can cut the pyramids. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to use a product called Celluclay, which is just a fine paper mache paste. And sculpting, it's like a paper mache sculpting material. Just add some water to it and you can get a lot of different consistencies with it. Almost makes like a dough. And then I will use that to fill in the gaps here, so my pyramids come out good. Just like that. So I'll be able to seat them on there, and the Celluclay works really well. I mean, you can sand it, you can cut it, you can texture it and whatnot. You can add more terrain. See how that works? Like that. The shell has dried. I put Celluclay on the whole thing. Came out great. Did a little bit of shaping here. This is all almost all set, and this is almost all dry. And now I'm doing the pyramids. Same thing. I'm applying Celluclay, and then I'm doing some patterns on it. Just kind of nice. Looks good. So I just mix up the Celluclay, so it's got a nice soft consistency. That's one of the beauties of Celluclay, is you can tinker with that consistency. And now I'll just spread it on, and that's what I've been doing. Just spread it on, and then shape it with a knife or any kind of a flat edge all the way around. Now I'm applying base colors. Now, base colors are usually not the final color, because what I will be doing is detail color after this, and also terrain. I'm putting terrain textures over the base color. Like I will be gluing sand to this, I think. We'll see how it looks. I'll try some and see how it looks. And this will hide all that, so the sand looks more uniform. Okay, now I'm going to add the sand. And what I did was I mixed up white glue 50-50 with water, and I just brushed that on. I'm going to try to get a nice even coat, and then just sprinkle the sand on. And I'll do that for the whole diorama. Now I'm making the water for the oasis, and I'm using a product called Easy Cast, which is, well, easy to do. You just mix even amounts of the hardener and the resin, and pour that right into the oasis, and then let it set. It takes a while to set, but that's how I get the water, and this will harden clear. And there we go, we have water. Okay, this diorama is complete, and I just wanted to show you just a few things. Detail work is important, and you might be wondering about some of this around the oasis, and this is pretty standard diorama making stuff. You know, make sure you paint your base colors, the blue underneath the water, so the water looks blue, of course, because that resin hardens clear. Just a little bit of turf terrain, sort of like spongy material that I glued on, and these little tufts of grass here. I have a tutorial on how to make tufts of grass, but those are just you can use, actually cut the bristles off a paintbrush, put a dab of glue, and then stick those right in there, and they will stand up straight like that, which is kind of nice. And the trees, the palm trees here, I sculpted these. I stuck a piece of wire in a cork and then I sculpted these out of Procreate. And for the palms here, I just cut pieces of origami paper to make the palms, and a few other details, you know, like this doorway here, and you know, different stuff. So this is the Egyptian diorama. Thanks for visiting my channel and watching my video. Lots more fun and interesting creative projects on my website at stormthecastle.com.